Welcome back, everyone. Today's video is going to be a try to get ready with me. I'm going to be trying out some of the products that I received in my last PR haul. So I have like the Milani skin tint, a couple other products from Milani too. They have a primer and a powder that is out. This Valentino lipstick, which I'm really excited for. And I also have the Nomad Fairytale Europe palette. I know a lot of you have been asking me to use this product. I have a brow product from Loreal that I'm a little bit nervous to try, but we are going to be chatting about a few things that are on my mind. So let's get you zoomed in and we'll get welcome. So like I said, I have a couple products from Milani. One is their Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Smoothing Primer. Okay, so a lot of you said that you wanted to see these Milani products in here. I'm not sure how you open this. Oh, this is like a little spatula. Okay, so here's what the primer looks like. Very fun that you have the little spatula in here. So it feels very, I don't like a jelly like texture, I would say. I don't wear primer every single time, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it came with all the other Milani products, so I thought why not give it a shot. I do have more combo skin, but a lot of you said that you wanted to see the Milani foundation stick. I was a little bit surprised I mentioned this in my new makeup releases video because I got the Colourpop foundation balm, the Milk Makeup Hydro Skin Tint, and then this one from Milani. And I always ask in the PR hauls what you want to see in my Get Ready With Me. And so many people were saying Milani. So I was like, all right, let's just go all in Milani. So again, like I said, a lot of times I don't always use a primer and I just kind of use my SPF really. But also in the new makeup releases, I was talking about how popular skin prep is right now. And not even just using a primer, but using a bunch of products before makeup. A lot of like hydration products and things like that. So we're gonna try out this primer today. I don't know if I noticed anything crazy off the bat, but I like this little packaging with the spatula. That's cute. But before I jump into the skin tint, I'm just gonna let the primer set for a minute. I just have something on my mind that I wanna talk about with the collective, with the community. So I saw a video the other day and I'm so upset because I thought I saved this video, honestly, just for me to go back and watch it again or talk about it with my friends. And then when I was thinking about doing this Get Ready With Me and what I wanted to talk about, I was like, oh, I should put that video in here. Kind of how I do in like my commentary reaction videos, and then we can react to it together. And I cannot find that video for anything. I searched everywhere. I went even through like my watch history. It's like one of those things where I'm like, did I really watch this video or did I dream this? Did I make this up? I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna try to articulate the message that the woman was saying in the video the best that I can. But first, let's go in with the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Skin Tint. I'm gonna use the shade 7, which is a light medium shade. Wow, okay. This does feel very lightweight, I'll say that. I'm gonna use my Sigma F48 soft coverage brush. It looks like the shade match is gonna be that just like I was saying I thought the shade match was going to be good and it literally like disappeared into my skin. Like it just became one. Wow, that looks nice. And not like, I don't say disappeared into my skin as a bad thing because I do have some like acne scarring on my cheeks and it covered them up. Like, wow, that's really nice. I feel like it's been a minute since I've done a foundation first impression that I've been like, okay, wow. To me, it almost does look like it's pulling a little bit on the matte side, which for me, I usually like something that's a little bit, well, for me, I prefer natural, but if it's gonna lean either way, then I would prefer for it to be like hydrating or glowy. So this is one of those things where like you can skin prep beforehand or something along those lines, but that's so pretty. I don't even feel like I used a lot of product. That took like nothing to blend out. That looks really nice on my skin. I'm a little shook right now. All right, my phone was charging in the other room and I was like, let me go get it because I want to read the claims on this one because I'm like, I'm just like, whoa, okay, so this is $16.99. Soft filtered skin is just a swipe away. This ultra blurring, nourishing formula melts onto skin, delivering buildable light to medium coverage with a natural soft matte second skin finish. Wow, wow. This looks really good on the skin. Like I said, I did think that it pulled more matte, so it makes sense that it's saying it's a soft matte. For me, you know, I just got the glazing milk because skin prep is very hot right now, so I bought this recently. I think the next time, you know, tomorrow when I do my makeup, I'm gonna do this first and then I'm gonna try this to see if I can get that little bit more hydrated look that I personally like. But if you do like a matte look or that soft matte look, I think that you would really like this. But that was just a couple swipes of product, and it's still, like, to me, it's still skin. Like, you can still like see my skin, but it really did kind of put just like a soft little filter on top. I am very impressed. Thank you everyone for telling me to try the Milani right away. Wow. I'm just gonna use the Tower 28 concealer. I don't have a new one. I've been seeing a lot of people talk really highly of the Estee Lauder Double Wear. And again, I mentioned in my new makeup releases that the Sephora sale is coming up. The Ulta 21 Days of Beauty is happening right now. I do have a full video on that. But we do have the Sephora sale coming up. So far, the thing that I want to get the most is the Fleur Vanilla Smoke fragrance. It's like a hair and body mist. That's really what I have my eye on at this particular moment. But I love the Tower 28 concealer, so anything that I don't have new from PR hauls, I just grabbed stuff from my Shop My Stash bag that I did for the month of March. But love the Tower 28. But this video that I saw, what the girl was saying was that we should not be chasing happiness. We should be chasing contentment. And that stopped me for a minute because of course I've heard, you know, variations along that line before of like, you can't always be happy. You can't always expect to like wake up happy every single day. Like, you know, those sort of things. But the way that she was explaining it, which is why I'm like so frustrated I can't find this original video, really kind of clicked things into place for me. And as I was looking around and trying to find this video, you know, I stumbled upon a few other ones that I listened to, and you know, not only was the word contentment being shared, but also the word fulfillment was out there quite a bit. Like, don't chase happiness, chase fulfillment, contentment. And it just really made me stop and think. And I actually ended up having a conversation with one of my friends about how it seems like we're always kind of moving on to the next thing. We're always talking about the next goal. We're always talking about the next way to be happy. We're always talking about the next phase in life that we want. And sometimes it feels like we can never just be like, ah, things are fine. Things are good. Things are content. I feel fulfilled right now. It's always the next thing and the next thing. And it's always like we're kind of chasing like another dopamine hit, like always looking for that next thing to make us happy. So as I'm watching this video and I'm hearing her say that it's actually contentment, it's actually fulfillment that you should be chasing, it made me pause and kind of look at my own life and kind of the way that I do things right now. And I felt very much like, yeah, I definitely fall into the category, and I think most people do. I definitely fall into the category of always chasing, of always going after that next thing. And I don't know if that's just, you know, kind of the way our society is more like built these days. And I think about it in my own life. Like, I'm someone who always makes goals for myself, and it kind of feels like once I reach a certain goal, I don't know if I really take enough time to be like, wow, you did that. Like, wow, good job. Let's sit with this for a minute. It's like, okay, what's next? Okay, check that off my list. Like, what's the next thing that I want to do? What's the next thing that I want to achieve? What's next? What's next? What's next? What's the next thing that's going to, you know, make me super happy? I've been discussing it with some of my friends, and, you know, I did have one friend who was like, I think that we should always be happy. And I get that thought as well. And this is where, like, I'm super curious to get feedback on this. I'm filming this one a little bit off the cuff, so I'm going to try not to be like super rambly, but it was something that I just saw the other day, and I kind of just couldn't get it out of my head. So I wanted to sit down while I do my makeup and just kind of share my unfiltered thoughts on how I feel. But to me, going back to happiness is a feeling. You can't be happy all of the time. The same way that sadness is a feeling, you can't be sad all of the time. Like if you are, that's a problem. But I think of it the same way with being happy. It's a feeling, and feelings are fleeting. Feelings aren't meant to like last forever, right? I talk about this when I discuss like healthy habits. This was kind of like the closest thing that I could think of to share about. But when I talk about healthy habits, I always kind of talk about how there's times in life that get us down. There's times in life where we go through hard things and we go through bad things. And it's kind of like a circle, right? You can get into your healthy habits. You can be on a good routine and everything's going well for you, and then something happens, good or bad, that throws you off, right? It can be something good, like buying a new house, but then that takes a lot of like focus and energy and time, and you're kind of knocked off of your routine for a bit, and you know, you're so busy setting up your new house and moving in that you kind of fall away from your routines, but then you can get back into them. It can be something sad. It can be something like losing a pet, and then that throws you off of your routines for so long because you're grieving and you know, you're going through life and trying to figure out what your new normal is. So you get off of your routines. But the great thing about routines and healthy habits is that you always get to come back to them. Yes, you can take your moment of downtime. You can take your moment of sadness. You can take your moment of, I need to step back and need to take a breath, and then you get to come back to it. And so that's what I think the great thing is. And so I kind of think the same way with happiness is like, because again, it's that circle of like, you can't always be happy. You're looking to be content. You're looking to be in that fulfilled state. So then when good things do happen, you're like, oh yay, I'm happy. And then guess what? Bad things are going to happen. You're gonna be like, oh boo, I'm sad. And then good things are going to happen. And you're going to be happy. But what is staying in place right here is your contentment and your fulfillment, and your feelings are just circling around it, just like something like our healthy habits are. That was the best way in my mind I felt like I could explain feelings versus like almost like a lifestyle, right? So that was the best way that I felt like I could explain it. I don't know if I did the best job there, but I tried. I'm gonna use the Nars Summer Unrated palette. I pulled this into my Shop My Stash and I just find it to be so beautiful. So there's a blush and a bronzer. So pretty. It's the Laguna and Orgasm. Yeah, Laguna Bronzer, Orgasm Blush, staples from Nars. So I'm just super interested to get feedback on that, because I've talked to a couple people now about it in real life, and I've had some people be like, I totally get what you're saying. You know, I do agree. Striving for contentment is the thing. And then I've had some people be like, no, I think striving for happiness is the thing. The reason why too I get concerned with like striving for happiness all the time is, like I said, it's kind of like that dopamine hit, and in a very, you know, I don't want to get like too deep here, but it's almost something that could be related to like addiction. You think about addicts and like their next hit, their next drink, their next, you know, whatever it is that they have this addiction to that sparks that dopamine in them and makes them happy. It doesn't last. That happiness feeling goes away, but then that's why you come back to that thing that you're addicted to. I'm not saying everyone's like addicted by any means, but like this is the best example that I'm trying to give, because again, happiness is a fleeting feeling. You can't always feel that way. You know, for me, like I love food. Eating food makes me happy. I just had a big bowl of ramen and I was so pleased while I was eating it. While I'm eating the ramen, I'm happy. I'm in a good mood. I'm like, this is good food. And then I go about the rest of my day. And then when I eat dinner tonight, guess what? I'm probably going to be happy about it. And then when I'm not, like my day is just content. But because I love food and eating food makes me happy, does that mean I can do it all day long and stay in that constant state of happiness? Well, no, that's not very realistic. That would be an addiction if that was happening. That's how I think of like the happiness feeling, and why I think that we can't always be striving. And again, this is just my personal opinion, but that we can't always striving to be in a state of happiness all of the time. I think happiness is like a goal, and there's definitely, you know, I think it's normal to say that I want there to be several points in my day where I feel happiness. And there's also going to be points in my day where I feel sadness, or I feel anger, or I feel these other feelings that are fleeting. But the same as like what I said, if you're sad 24/7, then that's like a sign of something going on. If you're angry 24/7, that's a sign of something going on. And even though happy is like joyful and like we want to be happy a lot of the times, if we're happy 24/7, I also think that maybe is a sign that something is going on. And I'm hoping that I'm articulating this correctly. I was having a really hard time putting this down. Like I was trying to make notes about it. Again, I've been having conversations. I'm like, I feel like I'm not articulating myself the absolute best, because I'm also not saying that there's anything wrong with being happy the majority of the time. I feel like I am a happy person. I feel like I look at the world in a very positive light. I feel like I can take a lot of bad situations and find a silver lining in them. And I love that part about me. It's, you know, sometimes I'm a little bit too naive, or I'm too trusting, or I just am too excited about things that I don't necessarily see, like, I was gonna say red flags, or like the negative side of things, because my brain, I've been able to train my brain to be positive thinking, which is good, but it doesn't mean that I don't go throughout the day feeling sadness, feeling anger, feeling worry. And so of course, I think happiness is something that's great, that we're striving for, to be happy most of the time. But again, at the end of the day, I think genuinely I might have been confusing happiness with the simple act of feeling content or feeling fulfilled. This blush is so pretty. I mean, it's such like an old school blush, but it just really never, it just really doesn't miss. All right, for my powder, I'm using that Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out powder is what we're gonna try today. Let's see if I can get it open, because I'm, oh no. Oh, okay. Looks like you just maybe press a powder puff onto this and get like a little bit of, oh no, are you supposed to remove this maybe? I feel like that's gonna make it, oh no, hold on. Don't worry guys, we're getting it. So you take this little piece off and then you have the netting inside. Got you. I got it. I'm hipping with the times. So we're just gonna do a little powder. This is just my Tower 28 puff. I'm gonna do some on the under eyes because this is a translucent powder. This to me, just doing one under eye, it looked very like smoothing right away. I'm gonna do it on some other areas of the face just to set everything. It does look a little bit more matte though, and with the matte foundation stick, I just get a little worried I'm gonna be a little too matte, but to me, it definitely looks very blurring. Again, just on the under eye right away, I could tell that. Wow, Milani, I am impressed. I think the base is looking pretty good. I'm feeling a little matte. I am gonna spray my face. This is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh spray with peptides and niacinamide. I don't use a setting spray always, but again, sometimes it can help me get like a little bit of hydration back in. Ooh, okay. And then for my eyeshadow palette, I'm really excited to use the one from Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Fairytale Europe palette. So in my PR haul, I was so excited about this one. I shared about it in my last new makeup releases video. I've done a few shorts with it as well. Like I used the Snow White shade the other day and I was literally just doing my makeup, wasn't filming at all. And I was like, wait, I have to do a quick video showing how beautiful this is. So this palette is so, so gorgeous. I think today, I really want to go for the gold shade because I can't believe I haven't used it yet. But I was saying that I'm someone who, you know, I wear pretty light makeup. A lot of times I don't even do eyeshadow. If I do like one shade, maybe two. And I don't have the most visual mind. I'm not a very like colorful makeup wearer. But every once in a while, a palette comes along that when I see it, I start doing different types of looks with it and trying different color shades with it. To me, that is how I know like this is a palette that really sparks me and really sparks my creativity, really sparks like the artistic side that I don't really feel like I have. And that is what this palette has done, because I have played with more of these colorful shades, with this duochrome over here. I don't even wear pink eyeshadow a lot. Pink was the first shades that I played with in this palette and I was like, that's weird. But today I want to go for one of my like, oh, do I though? I kind of want to do the Sleeping Beauty. Wait, see, this is what I mean. Like, I think I want to do Sleeping Beauty. That is so funny. I really thought I was going to do the gold, but this, so beautiful. Again, I wore Snow White the other day and I got to do a really fun event in Vegas. I got to go see all these themed suites at the Westgate. So, so cool. They just opened up a new one called the Lucky Bunny Suite. And so it's a former Playboy model who designed this suite. So it's very like Playboy themed, bunny themed, pink, girly, all the things. It was so cool. And then they had all these other suites that we could go in. There was a Halloween suite, y'all. Okay, I'm literally just gonna go in with this one shade and then we'll go from there. So this is, again, Sleeping Beauty. I do have a discount code with Nomad. It is Samantha if you're interested in the palette. But I went into the Halloween suite. There was like that clown holding the balloon, and then you get close to it and it starts moving. Over the bed is a giant tarantula. There's like a chalkboard that has a bunch of like creepy stuff written on, like, oh no. Oh no, 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 no. But then they had a Christmas one right across the hall, which was so cute, like Christmas trees everywhere, elf on the shelf in the bathroom. It was literally adorable. And, but while we were there, they were having a creator day. So creators can come in, shoot content, photos, all that stuff. It was really, really cool. They gave us lunch. I was like, wow, what a day. It was like a little field trip. And there was a photographer there and she said, wow, I just love your eyeshadow. And I was like, thank you. And she was like, no, that's a really cool eyeshadow. And it was Snow White from this palette. So I just thought that was really fun. But when I started to think a little bit more about this, like always chasing happiness, and when I said earlier, like, is it like a today's society type of thing that we've gotten there? I almost wonder if one, hustle culture could be related to that. Hustle culture is a word that we've heard over the last several years. You know, I talked in a video recently when I was speaking about how the internet, it's very trending right now, talking about hobbies. And so I dug a little bit deeper onto the subject and really kind of saw like the death in hobbies, the rise of entrepreneurship. And, you know, especially in the last little while here, we have had so much news of layoffs at corporate companies and more people kind of turning to other ways to be able to earn an income and support themselves and support their families. And sometimes that's entrepreneurship, sometimes that's, you know, side jobs, sometimes that's doing things like the platform TikTok Shop has been extremely popular amongst moms working at home, people who were laid off, you know, especially, you know, during the COVID time, lost their jobs then, are losing their jobs now, are turning to platforms like this so they are still able to have an income to support themselves. And so hustle culture has become a pretty popular term these days. And it made me wonder if maybe the rise of that has something to do with it. And then I also thought about just the popularity of social media in general. And to me, when social media was first really gaining strides and all of that, it used to be said, and it still is said now, that social media is a highlight reel. So especially when the platform Instagram was coming out and we were only sharing photos, it was like the best photos. It was like the best photo from the weekend, you know, the best photo of your makeup, the best flat lay photo. And I do think nowadays social media is definitely more used to showcase both the ups and downs of life, the trials, the triumphs, and all of those things. And I think it's a little bit more even keel, but I do definitely think social media still leans in the area of highlighting your life, the best parts of your life. And you know, I do the same. I like to share favorite things. I like to share tips that I've learned that have gotten me through hard things, but I do also like to share what those hard things were. And, you know, life isn't always a highlight reel. It's not always going to look like that. That's something that I've always tried to strive for with my channel, is to show both the good and the bad. I still think social media can have that kind of connotation of having a highlight reel. And so you can look, you know, maybe talking about like relationships, there's a lot of couples that I follow online that literally I just see the best parts of their relationship, the best parts of their life, the best parts of their home, the best parts of their love story, the best parts of their family. It's just, everything is just amazing. And sometimes I'll look at that and be like, wow, I don't know if I'll ever have a relationship that is that good. Like, these people wake up every single day and then they take us along in their lives and like look at their amazing car and they just love each other so much, and he's always hyping her up and she's so in love with him. But I always have to remind myself that that's probably not their norm. They're also probably not happy every single minute of every single day. Are they happy for the most part? Probably. I mean, maybe not everyone, but probably for the most part, they're very happy. They have those moments of the day that they bring genuine joy to one another. But also they probably go through hard times. They probably go through sad moments. They probably fight just like any other you know, normal couple, friendship, anything like that does. They probably challenge each other on a lot of things. And maybe that's just stuff that they don't want to show the internet because they don't want to have, like, that's not what they're going for. That's not the conversation that they want to have with showcasing their relationship. And that's okay as well. You don't have to, there's no obligation just if you share your life on social media that you have to share literally every single aspect of it. Because what that does is the more that you share, the more people have to judge you, get angry with you, leave the hate comments, all of those things. So even as someone for myself, like I share my life online, but I don't share everything. And there's certain parts of me that I do keep private and that I do keep to myself because I simply don't want that on the internet and I don't want the commentary on the internet. And so that's just something that I try to remember is just because I watch these other people in relationships and everything, every video is just like so fun and so amazing that they have hardships behind the scenes as well. And I can't compare a relationship or a friendship, a career, my looks, anything like that. I can't always compare that to social media and the highlights that we see. But it makes me think that that's probably something that really plays into this. We're constantly chasing happiness and we feel like we have to look like these people that we see online every day. And it's always that reminder that there's a difference between, what do I say in my last video? There's a difference between entertainment and education. There's a difference between, on my second channel, I was talking about there's differences between creators and consumers. Like, you have to remember that social media isn't always real, or isn't, not that it's not real, but it's not always the full story. Because you can't really get someone's full story through a 30-minute video. I think Samantha's gonna laugh if this is like a 45-minute video. For my lower lash line, I love that Nomad did the row of mattes down here. I'm just gonna take these two. It is, ooh, am I gonna be able to say that? Craigier Castle and Chateau de Chambord. Those. We're gonna take those on the Sigma pencil brush. I did my Rare Beauty eyeliner, which I've been really liking. That's the brown eyeliner that I chose for my Shop My Stash, and I feel like I've been using the brown more than I have the black, but I've also been doing a lot of brown mascara, which I didn't think I'd be into, but one of those things, you never know until you try. But I just love, I mean, I know this look is so simple, but like that one shadow, and it's kind of like that wet looking, kind of shifts a little bit, and it's just so pretty and so easy to use. I don't know, sometimes I feel bad for doing such simple looks, but it's what I love. Then I'm gonna use the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. This is the brown one that I've been trying out as well. That is really where, like, I was planning to wrap it up. To me, I didn't think this was like a really like long drawn out conversation to have about happiness versus contentment. It was more just a few thoughts that I had, and then also wanting to open it up to what you think, because like I said, when I've talked to people about it, I've gotten like differing opinions, and I never want to sit here and say that I think like my opinion is correct, but I just wanted to share like my thought points and kind of what went through my head when I started to sit and reflect on this a little bit more. And almost in a weird way, I felt like once I heard that and I sat with it for a little bit, it almost made me feel like that I can appreciate, that I want to make sure that I take the time to appreciate those content moments. Because sometimes I feel like I can fall into that where like I only appreciate the really high times. And this is where I think something like, I love my gratitude journal, and I think it's one of the most important tools that I have in my routine. And this is something that I try to do every single night. And when I first started to get into gratitude journaling, my mind always went to like, what was the best parts of my day, right? That's what I thought about every time. What are the absolute best parts of my day? The highlights of my day. And then when I started to get into the practice more and, you know, hearing other people talk about it, they were saying like, also be grateful for those little moments, for the small things, for all of those little things that made up to have a good day and a happy moment. And I was like, oh, so now when I sit and I do my gratitude journal at night, a lot of times the things that I'm grateful for are the basic things. Like I literally in my gratitude journal, almost every single day, I say the same things. Like I'm grateful for living in Las Vegas, you know, choosing the city that I started over in. And I love the vibes of this place so much. Lately it's been a little bit chilly, but I typically always say something about like being grateful for the weather, since I really didn't appreciate the weather in Iowa. I say I'm grateful for getting to move my body today. Went on a walk, maybe I went to reformer Pilates, but grateful that I'm able to move my body. Grateful for the food that I was able to eat, the meal that I was able to make. Grateful for my friendships. You know, like, yeah, there's some days where I'm like, I'm grateful that I got to go to the suites at Westgate and experience that. That's really fun. I had such a good time. I was very happy in that moment. But then there's other times where it's like, I'm grateful for the book that I read. I'm grateful that I had time to read a book today. Those little moments that we, you know, need to remember to be grateful for. So for me, that's why I love my gratitude journal so much. I ended up making one and I have it available with my brand now, which is by Samantha March. All the products are available at bysamanthamarch.com. The gratitude journal is actually also available on Amazon, but we just launched like the procrastination deck. The week at a glance notepad is back in stock as well. But I love the gratitude journal, and it's something that, again, I'm not gonna say I write in absolutely every single night because that would be a lie, but majority of the nights, at least 4 times a week, if not 5 times a week, I write in my gratitude journal. And a lot of times, now that I like sit and think and reflect back on it, a lot of times those things are the small things that made up the day, the things that made me feel content, the things that made me feel fulfilled, which I now understand can be different from that fleeting feeling of happiness. For my lips, I really wanted to use this Valentino spiked lipstick because I was like, how fancy. So this one is in the shade, what was it again? It says Spike Valentino. What didn't it have like an actual, it was like Spike a Pose, because I think I said Strike a Pose. Yeah, Spike a Pose is the shade of this one. So this, it's just like a nice nude. So I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty Pinky Brown lip liner first. All right, and then we're gonna try out Spike a Pose. It feels so fancy. Okay, so that is a pretty rosy shade. That's really pretty. It does have quite a scent to it. A little like, it's almost like perfume slash flowery scent, I would say. But that is a pretty shade. So it's more of a matte lipstick and definitely more of just like that pinky rose. Very pretty. Okay, so I will get some thoughts together on this Valentino lipstick, but so far so good. But that is going to do it for this look, trying out some of the new products that I received in the last PR haul. I didn't use the L'Oreal brow pencil. That was right when my camera battery died and I went out to do the other camera battery and I was like, I should just do my brows off camera. I ended up doing them on, but that's why I forgot to do the L'Oreal brow. I feel like I always forget something in one of my Get Ready With Me videos, but we'll try that in an upcoming one. But I'm very curious to get your feedback. I would love any comments. I hope you enjoyed this Get Ready With Me, and I'll see you in the next one.